Hey everyone, I'm Liam Smith with Agent Smith Voice Productions. Throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the presence of the battleship came to symbolize naval authority and national might. By the height of the Second World War, it would see the very pinnacle of these powerful machines. In 1935, the Imperial Japanese Navy set out design specifications for the most heavily armored and formidable battleship class in history. Possessing immense firepower and almost impenetrable armor, this lead ship of her class has since reached mythical status, forever immortalizing itself into an enduring symbol of Japanese culture. In today's video, I'm taking a look at the history of the biggest battleship of the Second World War, and in my opinion, one of the most beautiful warships ever designed. In the 1930s, the Imperial Japanese Empire adopted an expansionist policy that came under intense scrutiny by the League of Nations. In 1934, the country withdrew from the League, which prevented it from having to adhere to the Washington Naval Treaty. This treaty, also known as the Five Power Treaty, was signed in 1922, which prevented an arms race by limiting the size and power of capital ships. On October 1935, Japanese engineers realized they would be unable to compete with the might of US naval shipyards should the need for war arise. Thus Yamato, along with her sister ship Musashi, were specifically designed to be capable of engaging multiple warships at the same time. Weighing over 72,808 tons, this steel monster was the heaviest battleship in existence. Her 4 steam turbine engines generated a staggering 150,000 horsepower, with a top speed of 27 knots. Her main battery was armed with 9 40SK Mod 94 18-inch naval guns, the largest caliber of any naval artillery ever fitted to a warship. Each gun was 21.13 meters long and was capable of firing high explosive and armor-piercing shells, which weighed 1.5 tons with a muzzle velocity of 2,600 feet per second. Her secondary battery consisted of 12 Type 3 6-inch guns mounted in 4 triple turrets. Her anti-aircraft defenses comprised of 12 Type 98 5-inch guns in 6 twin mounts, and 50 Type 96 0.98-inch guns. An interesting aspect of Yamato's main battery was that the guns were guided by an analog fire control system, or ship gun fire control system. This system consisted of a director that provided the ship with long-range finders, parameters of fire, and electrical mechanical calculators. I find this highly fascinating, as my recent video covering the turrets of the Boeing B-29 Superfortress utilized a similar analog fire control system. Like all Japanese warships, Yamato had a distinguishing feature that was visible for miles. Upon her bow protruded the imperial crest, a huge chrysanthemum shield.
船は天皇陛下のものであるという思想があるわけですよ。ですからあれは菊の御紋章。あれを軍艦にはつけとるわけですよ。戦艦とか航空母艦とか巡洋艦とか大きな船にしかつけてないんですよね。大和の直径は2メートルあったんでね。
The keel of Yamato was laid in 1937 and eventually completed in 1941. With her total construction expenses amounting to an approximately 130 million yen in today's money. That would be a staggering 1 trillion yen or $8 billion. The Imperial Japanese Navy had initially decided to build 4 Yamato-class battleships, but due to the outbreak of the Pacific War in 1941, only 2 such warships were ever completed, Yamato and Musashi. The 3rd ship, Shinano, was converted to an aircraft carrier, and the 4th was never finished. The name Yamato stems from the ancient Japanese province meaning Great Harmony. During her construction in the port of Kuri, a great deal of secrecy was undertaken to prevent American intelligence officials from gathering information about her design and armament specifications. To counteract this, a high fence of fishermen's netting was placed around the ship to conceal her from view, and each engineer swore a solemn oath of non-disclosure. Sakatoro Nishihata, one of the naval designers of this beautiful vessel, explains about the construction plans.
図面板いうのがおりまして、そこへ返却して、その図面板の人が金庫にそれを収めて鍵かけて帰る。これ取り扱いこう墨で塗っておりますがね、ここに丸しと書いたハンコが押してあるわけですよ。世界一の船を作ったんだというのは戦後初めて分かっただけでね。
Presented here in these rare, amazing black and white photographs, you can see her incomplete citadel, guns, and the fisherman's netting hiding her enormous frame. Upon her completion, Yamato was commissioned in 1941. In her first mission during the Battle of Midway, she served as the flagship of the Japanese combined fleet. Throughout the course of the naval battle, from the 4th to the 7th of June 1941, she did not fire a single shot and was only used as an HQ ship. It was not until October 1944 that the colossal Japanese ship experienced the heat of battle. With the combined power of her sister ship Musashi, Yamato demonstrated the might of her guns and attacked US landing craft during the Battle of Leyte Gulf. It was one of the largest naval engagements in history. In the battle's outcome, Musashi had sunk after being hit by 17 bombs and 19 torpedoes. Yamato only suffered minor damage after being hit by a bomb during the engagement. However, things had taken a turn for the worst, as the Japanese fleet was severely depleted and lacked sufficient air coverage. By 1945, in a desperate attempt to slow down the Allied advance, Yamato was dispatched, along with a light cruiser and 8 destroyers, on a suicidal attack mission known as Operation Heaven 1 or Tenichi-go, on the 6th of April to defend the island of Okinawa. Her orders were to beach herself, thus becoming a massive land battery and fight until destroyed. Unfortunately, on the morning of the 7th of April 1945, Yamato was spotted by American reconnaissance aircraft at 6 a.m., and by 10 a.m. the first US squadrons of the Task Group 58 took off from 5 heavy and 4 light aircraft carriers. A total of 227 aircraft took part in the destruction of the Japanese fleet. At 12 p.m., the first planes spotted the warship, which lacked sufficient air coverage. The Japanese fleet spotted the incoming wave of aircraft at 12:20 p.m. Yamato opened fire with her AA batteries. The Avengers and Helldivers concentrated their effort on the huge warship, dropping their torpedoes on the port side to increase the likelihood of Yamato capsizing. At 12:02 p.m., the Americans launched the second wave of aircraft on the warship. Yamato was hit by a total of 11 torpedoes and 6 bombs. Her control scheme was destroyed, along with her auxiliary rudder jammed to hard port. By 2:05 p.m., the massive warship stopped moving and began listing to port every minute. And at 2:23 p.m., when this behemoth capsized, it caused a massive explosion that was reportedly heard and seen 200 kilometers away in Kagoshima. It sent up a huge mushroom cloud 20,000 feet into the air. The pride and hope of the Japanese combined fleet sank to a watery grave. In total, roughly 3,000 crewmen were lost, along with the commanders of the Japanese combined force and the ship. The violent explosion from Yamato was caused by the detonation of one of her main battery magazines. Although she was powerful, this steel giant was not without her drawbacks. She was sunk as a direct result of an immense airstrike. Thus, she lacked the sufficient defensive capabilities and cover to resist such a massive onslaught of attacking aircraft. To this day, Yamato remains a symbol of Japanese naval might and the pinnacle of battleship design. She is so famous that a science fiction anime television series named Space Battleship Yamato was created in 1974, in which she is rebuilt to defend Earth from invaders. On April the 23rd, 2005, Japan opened up the Yamato Museum with exhibits reflecting the naval history of ship construction in the port of Kuri. In the centerpiece is an 85-foot model of Yamato. Next time in my war videos, Bismarck vs. Hood, World War II battles. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. I really enjoy making these videos. And don't forget to give us a like and to subscribe for more content. You can also help support my channel by subscribing to my Patreon or donating to my PayPal. The links are in the description box down below. Finally, to my loyal subscribers, your contribution and ongoing support for this channel has been so helpful, it really means the world to me. Liam Smith with Agent Smith Voice Productions. Until then, stay tuned. I'll see you next time.